This is an assignment guide for supporting good practice in managing employment relations, also known as 3MER. This is an assignment for the Level 3 Foundation Certificate in Human Resource Practice. Before you start this assignment, it's important for you to recognise that the assessment is in 3 separate parts. The first part of the guidance leaflet asks you to consider the impact of employment law at the start of the employment relationship. The second part asks you to consider employment rights during the employment relationship, and the third part asks you to consider the end or the termination of the employment relationship. It's really important that you keep these stages in mind as you are answering the assignment. So the first 3 assessment criteria relate to the start, the next 5 assessment criteria relate to during the relationship, and the final 3 assessment criteria are all geared towards the end of the employment relationship. You are also asked to investigate resources, so you must refer to published resources to answer this assignment, and some examples are provided later. You should create your guidance leaflet in Word, and this will enable electronic marking, and the guidance leaflet could be in a format that your company already uses. You should pay particular notice to the amount of items you are asked to include. For example, you are asked for 2 reasons why employees should be treated fairly in relation to pay. If you only include 1 reason, then your assignment will be referred. If you provide 2 reasons, which are essentially both employment law reasons, again, your assignment may be referred. When you're answering these questions, try to give 2 very different reasons. And finally, the guidance leaflet should be approximately 3,000 words in length. There's a lot to cover in this assignment, so it will be easy to exceed the word count. So perhaps before you start, it might be a good idea to divide the word count up amongst the assessment criteria in this assignment. The activity from the CIPD states that you need to investigate resources such as the CIPD website, and so you must refer to published resources to be able to answer this assignment correctly. Some possible resources include the CIPD website, ACAS and their website, and gov.uk website. There are lots more, but these will provide you all of the information you need for this assignment. When you use resources in your assignment, you should state where you've used them within your report, and an example is stated here. So for example, CIPD 2016 states that UK employers are responsible for ensuring that their pay structures meet the requirements of the Equality Act 2010. This is an example of how you can use or state the resources within your report, and gives you an idea of the layout and font that you should use. You'll note that 2016 is provided in brackets, and that's the year of the publication of the document. The actual quote itself, word for word, taken from the CIPD, is given in italics. And the author of the report, which in this case is the CIPD, is the first piece of information that's provided. If you use resources in your report, you should also include a bibliography or a reference list at the end of the report, and this is a list of all of the resources that you've used. CIPD use the Harvard referencing system, and an example of the entry that will go into your bibliography is given here. CIPD 2016 Equality Pay Fact Sheet online, available at, and this was accessed on the 9th of the 6th 2016. Again, use this example to give you hints and ideas on how to lay out your bibliography entries. So here, the author, or in this case the CIPD, is stated first. This is followed in round brackets by the date of publication, and in this case this was March 2016. However, in your bibliography list you only need to state the year of the publication. This is followed by the title, so in this case the Equal Pay Fact Sheet, which is provided in italics. This is an online resource, so that's stated after the title of the document, and that's provided in square brackets. Then it's available at, and you need to provide the full link so the assessor could go directly to the Equal Pay Fact Sheet if they wanted to check out any of the resources or the references that you've used. And finally, in square brackets, you need to state the date that you actually accessed this resource, and that's important so that the assessor would be able to see if the document have changed, that perhaps it might have been the exact wording that you've used on the date that you accessed the information. And finally, the checks that you need to do before you submit include having a proofread to check for spelling, grammar or punctuation errors. You should double check that you provided the requested number of examples for each assessment criteria, and you should check that you've included a front page so the assessor knows that this is your assignment. You should add in the CIPD assessment form at the beginning of your work and ensure that both pages are completed with your CIPD number and word count. Look out for the next videos which cover each assessment criteria in more detail.